Hey guys, welcome back to the Right Side of Dark Energy, a universal construct. Today I'm actually going to be putting together a couple of videos that are going to be focused on some articles that I have written, and I want to put them into video format and possibly even add some graphics into the video editing program to actually get this looking more professional and more presentable. Now, I've written a lot of esoteric articles on the subject of dark energy, the expanding universe, everything from the universe is a crystal core quantum computer to the purpose of life. Some very interesting and intriguing articles, in my opinion. So today I'm going to be focusing on primarily I'm going to be focusing on the Right Side of Dark Energy project. I'm going to be putting the entire 30-part document into video format, reading it exactly the way I wrote it several years ago, and I'm also going to be making videos of some of the articles, some of my most intriguing articles in my opinion that I have written, and I'm going to be putting them into video format with graphics and some other inspirational conceptual artwork, so that way you can kind of visualize what I'm talking about. I'm actually also planning on taking some of these articles that I've written and diving deeper into the meaning behind the text. When you're writing an article, if it's too long, people will not read it. You know, there's even a quote or something called too long didn't read, TLDR, right? That's actually this meme that people have created where they say basically it's too long, I didn't read it. So I'm going to put this stuff into video format. Not only that, you have the opportunity of watching it at a higher speed than I actually recorded it at. So if you can understand and follow along, you can actually speed up the video and get the information much faster. Plus, as I said, I'm going to really try to put some graphics into the audio video that I'm putting together to give you a presentation of some of the meanings that I'm talking about. And I'll even dive into some of the scientific explanations behind some of my concepts and conclusions regarding the universe and how everything works. Okay, so I just wanted to say that introductory. Now, here is the first article that I'm going to be presenting as a audio video presentation. And I want to start out by saying this is a single paragraph article that I put together, and it truly does explain the universe in one paragraph. Now, there's a lot of information in here. If you don't know anything about astrophysics or science, that's actually a good thing, because the more you know, the more you're going to disagree with what I'm talking about, or you're going to have a complete revelation. You're going to say, that's interesting, it's amazing, but it couldn't possibly be because I was told in college that this is how the universe works, and they wouldn't lie to me. So
he's done nothing but lie to us.
He's gonna have to live with that. I'm not saying he was right.
What are you saying?
That I'm trying to understand why he did what he did.
Something wrong?
On the contrary, so far it seems like everything you said is true.
But the ancients finding evidence of a signal once being broadcast across the universe.
It is amazing. A distinct structure in the background radiation.
It sounds like static to me.
You're expecting Stairway to Heaven?
This is huge.
That suggests more than a random order to the universe. Possibly constructed by intelligent life, or assuming you had no luck deciphering any of it.
Is this the reason you brought me up here?
Well, you have planted false information in the database before.
you know, that's kind of an interesting thing. I mean, right now science basically says that the universe will fade away into nothingness eventually. They say that the stars are giant balls of gas and that black holes are, points of infinity that do nothing but sit there and evaporate into nothingness, and that the universe is all just gonna slowly wind down and spread apart and basically just turn into this giant nothingness eventually.
The universe as we know it will dissipate into a fine mist of cold nothingness eventually.
Now that is completely ridiculous. Let me just say that right now. That concept, that theory, quote unquote theory, is so that theory is so contrary to everything you see everywhere you go. I mean, it doesn't matter. Everywhere on Earth, there's growth. Even in your bathtub, if you let the ring of water in your bathtub sit for too long, it will actually start getting bigger. And if you look at it with a microscope, you will find out that there's little tiny life forms, little tiny microbes that are taking that slight differentiation of energy, and they're actually using that energy, and they're able to physically grow their mass. And then there's a new generation of life forms that take that mass that's already built up, and then they start cannibalizing and eating that mass, and then they create even more mass just with the little tiny ring of organic material that's around your bathtub. Okay, and then if you look obviously at the forests are always constantly growing. They grow, their leaves grow, the leaves take the energy from the sun, they convert that electromagnetic energy, which is light, and they convert that energy, they take that energy and they convert it into matter. The tree grows larger and larger. Through the seasons, the leaves fall onto the ground, which physically builds the soil, the topsoil that the tree is growing in, and over thousands and thousands of years, the whole plant cycle is physically growing the mass of the planet. Okay, all these plants make their own food. What that means is that plants are able to take electromagnetic energy from the sun. They're able to take sunlight, and they're actually able to convert that sunlight into matter. Okay, so they're physically growing the mass that they grow in. In doing so, they're feeding a whole ecosystem of other plants and other animals and insects and bugs and beetles, and all the way up to the squirrels and the tigers and the lions and the humans. All of this energy is absorbed from the sun, and the plants and the other ecosystems on this planet take that excess energy and physically grow the planet. So if you're going to say that the planet is constantly growing and the universe somehow is going to be contrary to this unique organic system of growth and life, and this is the only place in the universe where life exists, and everywhere else in the universe is this barren landscape, and it's all going to fizzle out and eventually decay, and it's just going to get colder and colder and shrink and shrink and shrink until it's eventually all nothingness. This idea is so fundamentally flawed. I won't get into the reason why this idea is flawed the way it is, but it gets very sinister. But all I'm going to tell you right now is that is the exact opposite of what's happening in the universe. Okay, like Earth, everything in the universe is growing and expanding. What we call the supermassive black holes at the center of galaxies, those aren't points of infinity doing nothing but eating galaxies. Those are crystal core quantum computer stars. Okay, they're also called central black suns in some esoteric circles. They're giant crystal core quantum computers, and inside those giant crystal core quantum computers is an entire new universe with its own Big Bang, its own new stars, its own spiral of motion where the galaxies start to spin around each other, become huge galaxy clusters. Within the galaxies, there's planetary stellar constellations. And within the planetary stellar constellations, there's planets that have moons that are spinning. All of this motion is there for a reason. It's motion of matter that creates gravity, which also creates energy, plus about an extra 10%. Okay? So there's a reason why the galaxies everywhere you look, from the oldest galaxies that are just big clusters of kind of hot gas and stars that aren't very well defined. I think they call them I think they're called something like circular galaxies. I don't remember the exact name. As they mature, and as you look closer and closer to Earth, so basically the further out you look, the further back in time you're looking. As you start looking closer and closer to Earth, the different galaxies, every single one of them form up into some form of a spiral galaxy. They all have a very standard structure that they take. Okay, so they go from these big blobs of stars, and they slowly start spinning into a well-defined structure, which is the spiral galaxy. Okay, and obviously we're in the Milky Way. The Milky Way is a spiral galaxy. The galaxy next to us is the Andromeda galaxy, and that is a beautiful spiral galaxy. It's larger than the Milky Way. There's some estimates that these two galaxies are coming closer to each other. I'm not going to get into the actual celestial mechanics of how the galaxies are interacting with each other during this particular talk. But I will tell you that there's a reason why these giant blobs of stars form up to create a very well-defined celestial structure, which we call a spiral galaxy. And there's different types of spiral galaxies, and they come in all shapes and sizes, just like humans, okay? They come in all shapes and sizes and flavors, just like all the life on Earth. There's plenty of diversity within the structure of the spiral galaxy. But with all of that diversity, there's an underlying structure, and that structure is the spiral galaxy, where you have a central hub, which is usually considered the central black sun, or the supermassive black hole at the center of the galaxy, which is actually a crystal core quantum computer. And inside that crystal core quantum computer, there's an entire new universe growing with its own black holes and its own supermassive black holes, which then lead to new universes within the universes. So it's black holes within black holes, universes within universes. This is a cascading universe, okay? And all of the motion in each and every single one of these galaxies, and each and every one of these celestial mechanics, the machinery of the cosmos, whatever you want to call it, all of this motion, all of this well-defined structure is being done on a purpose. The motion of matter equals gravity, which equals energy, plus about 10%. So as the galaxies fall and fall and fall through the different dimensions, and they create their own universe, and then they create black holes, which create new universes, every single universe looks very similar to the universe we are in, okay? There can be some fundamental differences, but generally speaking, there must be a mechanic, some kind of mechanism where you can actually take these huge, massive bodies, okay, and as they spin around each other, they're using what is called gravity assist, okay? Now, the idea that stars are just stupid rocks flying around doing absolutely nothing, and they're no awareness, and they accidentally smash into each other, and somehow planets keep forming, and somehow the universe keeps expanding, and somehow they form up into these perfectly uniform structures throughout the entire universe. And the closer you look, the oldest galaxies are all the most well-defined galaxies. This is all not just being done by accident, okay? There is a intelligence behind all of this.
It was never about going home. It's about getting us to where we're going.
What the hell's that supposed to mean?
You know, these past few weeks, I've learned so much more about the ship, about its mission. It's far more important than we ever thought.
Okay, let's hear it.
Are you familiar with the cosmic microwave background radiation?
Noise left over from the Big Bang.
A long time ago, the ancients made a discovery. They found evidence of a structure buried deep within the background radiation. They believed that at one time, this structure had genuine complexity, coherence, therefore could not have occurred naturally.
How is that even possible?
It's not. At least not according to our current understanding of physics, nor can we even see this structure with our technology.
Okay, so what are we talking about? Some kind of code? A message?
Message, perhaps. Or a sign of intelligence from the beginning of time.
Sent by?
Well, that's the very question they sought to answer when they launched Destiny. That is the mission. We're talking about a mystery rooted in the foundation of reality. A puzzle with pieces scattered across the length and breadth of the universe itself.
I swear to God, Rush, if this is another one of your hoaxes...
Once I'd broken the code, I had access to the ship's complete archive. There are thousands of pages devoted to this. Scientific research, philosophical debate.
We don't have the technology to see this thing. How the hell am I supposed to believe...
Because Destiny is not our technology, Connor. The ancients left us their data, as well as the ship.
And you've seen this data?
I'll show it to you.
It is amazing. A distinct structure in the background radiation.
Okay, so that's why we talk about the universe being a crystal core quantum computer, because there is consciousness at some level within the entire universal structure that is able to take the mass of the universe, okay, and you're talking about anywhere from, 13.8 billion years, which is the quote-unquote estimation of this universe, which, the whole concept of time is an illusion, as Einstein says. I'm not going to get into the physics behind time, okay? But what I will tell you is, regardless of how old this universe is, I think we can all agree it's very, very old, okay? And so we say that there was a big bang and matter and energy exploded out of nothingness at this singular point, and it expanded outwards. And then as it expanded outwards, we see that it started to make these big clusters and these big lumps, and then those lumps started to form into well-defined spirals, spiral galaxies, and then within those spiral galaxies there are star clusters and nebulas, star nebulas, where these new stars are being born, and somehow, for some reason, every single star that's born happens to start to have planets created around itself. Those planets then create moons around themselves. And then if you look at the atom, okay, and you start to look at the atom, and you have the macro and the micro, the very large and the very small, and you start to look at them, and there's a very similar correlation. So you have this idea of gravity assist. If you take your shoulder or your elbow, you lock it around a friend, and you start spinning in a circle, you will realize that with very little effort, you two can both start spinning faster and faster with less effort than if you were to spin by yourself. So you're actually creating an excess of energy. This excess of energy is happening on a macro and a micro scale. So that means that this excess of energy is happening on a galactic scale, as well as within the parts of the atom. The atom is literally using its own matrix, its own geometric structure, okay? And it's actually able to create an excess of energy, just like the universe itself is creating an excess of energy. All of this excess of energy eventually funnels down into these supermassive black holes, which are naturally occurring crystal core quantum computers, okay? So these supermassive stars become black holes, which means that the actual physics and the way they interact with the universe that they are residing in, within the event horizon, okay, is a new set of geometric space-time, a new way of interacting, a new Big Bang occurs, and inside the supermassive black hole crystal core quantum computer, a new universe is born. The matter and energy that is pouring into that new universe literally would be the Big Bang that we experienced 14 billion years ago, okay? So the time, as I said, time, I'm not going to get into the interaction of matter and energy, space and dark energy, and how time can be different depending on the literal geometry and the structure of the universe itself. I've done some videos explaining it a little bit. I'm not going to get into it right now, but I just want to explain. And it's very hard to understand that there's a supermassive black hole at the center of most galaxies is at least one single, if not multiple, supermassive black holes, which all that is, it's a representation of energy, okay? All that is, ultimately, is a representation of energy. Within that supermassive black hole, there's enough energy to create a new universe, and that universe, because the black hole is a quantum computer, it is intelligent and it understands that it has to form up these spiral galaxies within itself, and all that winding up is actually creating an excess of energy. The idea that matter can be neither created or destroyed is complete nonsense. If you take energy, okay, I'm not going to try to explain it right here and right now. All I'm going to say is that new energy is able to be created all the time. Just like the Big Bang, there was nothing, and then all of a sudden there was this expansion of the universe, and now we realize the universe is continuing to expand. Where is all that energy coming from? If there is one thing that is very clear, is that energy can be created, and it's being created all the time. They call it the inflation, they call it whatever you want to call it. The universe is in perpetual creation and perpetual expansion. The way you need to think about it is if you have a computer, okay, and if you have a computer log. If you have a computer and you started in the year, say 2000, just to keep things rounded off, and then in 2005, all of the interactions you did, whether it be surfing the internet, writing documents, taking pictures, uploading pictures, everything you do on the computer, if you had a computer log of everything you did, would your log be bigger or smaller in 2005 from when you first turned on your computer in the year 2000? Would it be larger in 2005? Yes. Why would it be larger? Because there was interaction. There was things occurring on the computer every time it started up and shut down. Obviously the universe doesn't start up and shut down, but the concept is, say you never did start it up and shut out, you just ran it the whole time. Every single day, okay, every second of every single day, your computer is generating a log, okay? So you could say there's new data being written. Now we're in 2018, almost 2019. From the year 2000, how much new data have you created on that computer? The computer log is constantly growing and growing and growing. That's the easiest way I can explain to you why the universe is expanding, and it's actually a multiverse. It's a cascading multiverse. It's universes within universes. Each universe has its own 10 dimensions. The 11th dimension could be all interconnected. Each universe has its own 10 dimensions, and then there's an 11th dimension. I'm not going to get into those right now. I have done a video that is what is quantum gravity. You can look at that. I explain a single universe and the cascade of different densities within that universe, and it's divided. The universe itself physically divides its geometry and its structure into 10 separate dimensions, and then of course each time a black hole gets big enough or mass becomes crystallized and becomes heavy enough, it creates a new universe and a new set of 10 dimensions. So that's the cascading universe. It's a multi-dimensional multiverse, meaning each universe has its own dimensions, and then each universe can possibly create a new dimension underneath it. So it's literally a cascading universe. It's a multi-dimensional multiverse, okay? I'm going to leave that particular point to rest. I'm going to read my article, okay, that I wrote. First, before all of this, I want to read a quote from Nikola Tesla. "My brain is only a receiver. In the universe, there is a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength, inspiration. I have not penetrated into the secrets of this core, but I know that it exists." Nikola Tesla. Okay, so that's a quote that came from Nikola Tesla about 100 years ago. I guess you could say he was ahead of his time, right? And here I am. I'm going to add to that by reading you my article. Here's my article. It's a 1-paragraph article, and it starts like this. "We are connected to Earth through the Schumann Resonance, and Earth is connected to the universe. I believe that the universe is connected to each and every one of us through the pineal gland, and that consciousness is the black hole crystal core quantum computer we are in. The universe is a quantum computer that we are entangled in, and all the stars, planets, moons, and protoplanets are all crystal core quantum computers, and their purpose is growth and efficiency. Life is efficiency, and it's life that grows the planet to become large enough to become a star, which gives birth to more planets as it gets larger and larger and eventually becomes a black hole, where it then creates its own new universe. And because it is creating its own universe within itself, it is able to grow itself, both within, and if it is growing fast enough, the black hole universe is able to actually spit matter back up and grow a galaxy around itself. This creates new stars and new galaxies and literally builds infinity through the machinery of the cosmos. All the while, the crystal cores of the cosmos create the intelligent infinity, and they create habitats where they can evolve humanoid life forms with little crystals in their skull. As an example, the pineal gland, that they can use a form of quantum Wi-Fi and actually play flesh games while they sit in the expanse of eternity, growing and growing. Oh my God. So that's my first video presentation. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. I will try to put together some more videos just like this, explaining my right side of dark energy theory and also highlighting some of the articles that I've written that are more esoteric than scientific. And I hope you enjoy them. If you like this video, if you like this type of content, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want, feel free to subscribe. Again, thanks for watching, and I will put together some more videos very soon.